Welcome, everyone. It is the 20th. Can you all hear me okay? I've double checked to make sure that my mic is actually picking up and not my computer for, reasons. I am on Discord, Cynthia, under Mom of Six, all together, no spaces. Wolfram, I greatly appreciate your modly modness. Thank you so much for doing that. Free spirit prepping and news. Goodness, I hope that you have like a good heating pad and something that works for you. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds really hippy dippy, but they have these infrared just full body pads. Look, they're expensive. They have crystals in them. I have no idea if the crystals work. Kind of not my jam, but the infrared heat on a bad day, very good. You can find them on eBay too. Uh, let's see, Becca Lynn, good evening. And Slinky and Squid Pro Quo, welcome, welcome. So we have a lot of news tonight, and I would just like to say congratulations, ladies of Iran. You know, I often get a little bit perturbed and irritated that these, um, social activists never seem to take real women's issues together, but congratulations to these women. You know what? You guys just go crazy because, goodness gracious, oh my gosh, they're drinking. Iranian women celebrate the death of President Ibrahim Raisi, who led a brutal crackdown on rights. Sir, you cannot climb up my skirt. We have had we have had a talk. Let's see. Scores of Iranian women posted videos of themselves celebrating the death of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi on Monday, openly dancing on his dirty grave after he oversaw a brutal crackdown on 2022 protest against Islamic morality police. I mean, there have been a lot of things that are going on in Iran. You have the young lady who was unalived by the police for her hijab dipping just a little bit. The sad thing is, oh, for the love of Cheetos, sir. Well, don't climb on my skirt, you dingus, and don't touch the buttons on the keyboard. I don't think it was an accident. There were so Styx is much more Styx Hexenhammer is much more learned and has a better grip on what it is that is going on there. But before the revolution, women were wearing mini skirts. I mean, Iran was very, very open and almost like a Western city before the Islamic takeover. And it really just, it frosts my flakes, it burns my biscuits, that there are genuine atrocities going on. And these college dingleberries, don't want to fight for real justice. They want to, go for microaggressions. And, if you just open your eyes a little bit, sir, dingus malingus, you are not going on my desk. This is not happening. You've already put developer or whatever people that work computers. We do not like being left alone. We want to have all the attention. Wilfred, you're supposed to be the good cat. How did I get the feral griffin cat? I have no idea. But you did get chosen to this family. Let's see. Rossi, a reviled leader known as the quote unquote butcher of Tehran, died when his helicopter crashed in a remote region of the country Sunday. While the Islamic Republic's supreme leader is Ali Khomeini. So again, it's more, it's kind of like how you don't have peace in some of these countries because really it is a multi-layered government theocracy. So you can do a deal with the government, but if the theocracy doesn't agree to it, it's not going to go. And, if you want to learn more about someone who actually knows these things, Styx Hexenhammer does really good analysis. I am simply kind of parroting, yes, I love you very much, you dingus. Yes, no, you can't live inside my soul. Just, you are, no, I enjoy being accosted. Thank you. We run a very professional chaos around here. No one wants to see your butthole. I give up. Tonight is just Wilfred night. He's just gonna, he's just here. Uh, Ayatollah Khomeini announced 5 days of public mourning in the wake of the 63-year-old's death. A slew of women took to social media to share clips of themselves throwing back drinks and otherwise cheering his demise. Quote, "We freely dance and celebrate on your dirty grave," one woman, Mashir Shanikar, tweeted. And I'm probably butchering these names, but oh my goodness, uh, this is, again, there are things that I would love to see people protesting. This would be one of them, but no, we're talking about like a place that they've never been and, grasp of Mesopotamia that never happened. Shanikar was blinded by Iranian security forces after taking part in a mass protest across Iran in 2022 that were sparked by the death in custody of Masha Amini, who was arrested for not properly wearing a hijab in public. Shanikar filmed herself smiling and dancing along. Sir, it, chaos, just chaos. Sir, you are a dingus. Yes, I love you very much, but you are just a ball of ridiculous. Uh, Shankar filmed herself dancing alongside Seema Morabiji, who lost her right arm after being shot by cops during a women's rights protest. This is what I'm talking about. These women went out and they lost, precious abilities that, not the keyboard, sir, that they might, you know, they really fought for something. They really, went out and did something very courageous, knowing that there was going to be risks, knowing that the cops were FAFO. This is the kind of ridiculous slacktivism that really pisses me off, because these women actually went out there and fought and lost things. The daughters of Minu Majad, a 62-year-old woman unalive during the same protest, shared a clip of themselves toasting the news of Rasi's death with the song Helicopter by Bosnian singer Faraja blasting in the background. That is awesome. I love it. I love that they are, the way you deal with tyrants, in my opinion, the way you deal with these type of people is that you turn them into a joke. You use humor. Tyrants hate laughter. They hate laughter in to themselves. They are deeply insecure, in my opinion, and they want adoration. And the worst thing you can do is take something and make it funny and turn it back on them, to make them an object of ridicule, especially in an honor-based culture. And I am so glad that these women honored their mom like this. What an amazing, amazing, just show of defiance and, love for their mom, who lost her life for, you know, just wanting to be respected as a woman. It's just ridiculous. Meanwhile, Iranian journalist Mashi Anjad, who lives in Brooklyn, shared a video of a mom and daughter rejoicing just months after Rasi had ordered the execution of the woman's son. Quote, "Just a few months ago, Ibrahim Rasi executed her son, and now she is dancing over his death in a helicopter crash." Nijad tweeted, "I told you, Iranian women were wounded, but unbowed to their oppressor. My social media is flooded with videos of people who had relatives that were unalived, just dancing, celebrating his death. And what a brave thing to do in a country where there are actually consequences." Yeah, this is my entire pissed offness at the third wave feminists. You want to fight something? Talk about Boko Haram. Let's get, women that are, physically attacked for trying to get an education. It's just, I am so damn tired of these people whining about microaggressions when you've got these brave, fantastically resilient women who lost arms, lost sight, lost their lives, and they are still fighting. They still have, it's just I'm so done with college students, and it's not their fault. I mean, I'm sure everyone is insufferable in their early 20s. I get it. You are insufferable. It just is what it is. You don't have the life experience to really step outside yourself and kind of see things in a different way. That critical, thinking isn't quite there yet. Let's see. A UN Human Rights Council report this year found that more than 500 Iranians were killed in the government's brutal crackdown on the protests, and more than 2,000 or 22,000 were arrested. The report also found that the Iranian security forces SA'd many of the women in custody. Now, Iran, I think, has a spot on the Human Rights Council in the UN, which is why, when I become president, we are simply going to not ask, tell people that they are going to pay their own share. America isn't going to do it all. You get free health care because America is basically your military. So maybe shut the hell up and let's get some stuff done. Also, UN, you want to talk about your workers being total creepos? Because we can go there. Don't make me go there. You have South Korea on the Human Rights Committee. I cannot with you people. The report also, oh, the footage, footage was also circulating on social media showing people setting off fireworks and cheering in the wake of Rossi's death. And from America to my fellow sisters, the former deceased president of Iran, right there. The scenes of celebration unfolded as government loyalists packed into mosques and squares to pray for Rossi. Rossi's body, as well as that of his foreign minister and 6 others. Now, here's the thing. Why in God's name would you put your president and all of basically your cabinet in one helicopter where it's very visually compromised? Look, don't attribute to conspiracy what can be attributed to stupidity. Mo's law. It might just be that they are just dumb. Let's see here. Rossi was traveling in a convoy of choppers when his went down near the city of Jolfa, about 375 miles away from Tehran, Iran's official news agency INRA said. Early footage and images of the crash site shows scattered debris, detached helicopter parts strewn across mountainous terrain. So, I'm kind of okay with disbanding the UN. In a update to our Paul Pelosi hammer uh, story this morning, apparently there was a clear error in this case. I can't imagine the federal government making an error. Surprise Pikachu face. Let's see here. A federal judge in California has agreed to reopen sentencing for David DePape, the man who only last week was sentenced to 30 years for the assault and attempted kidnapping of the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, because he did not receive a chance to address the court during the hearing. DePape's new scheduled sentencing hearing will be held on May 28th. U.S. District Judge Jacqueline Corley ordered Saturday. Prosecutors first brought the matter to the court's attention in a Friday motion, noting that the 40-year-old or 44-year-old had not been given the opportunity to speak before Corley, as is his right. Though it is his right, he is not obligated to do so. Nevertheless, federal rules of criminal procedure demand that all defendants be presented the option. How in the world do we not, you're the feds. You guys made up these onerous, ridiculous, bureaucratic, stupid rules. Could you at least stick with them? Look, y'all, I am in full F deficit today, so I might be a little spicier today. But government, how you, this is our government. And in a nutshell, they do a 7% of a half-assed job. I am done with the to the Fed watching this, Fred, I love you, and I'm just joking. According to a motion from prosecutors filed or prior to Corley's order, U.S. attorneys said they notified DePape's lawyer of their intent to file a motion to reopen the sentencing hearing. Quote, instead of responding first to the government, today at 2:19 p.m., the defense filed a notice of appeal from the judgment and sentence in this matter, prosecutors wrote. Roughly half an hour later, DePape's attorney wrote back to the prosecutors telling them it opposed their motion. This maneuvering by DePape should be ignored, U.S. attorneys told Corley. In Corley's order, the judge conceded it was the court that made a clear error by mistakenly foreclosing on DePape's time to speak. At the May 17th hearing, no party brought to the court's attention that DePape had not been asked if he wished to talk before the sentence was rendered. Quote, nevertheless, it was the court's responsibility to personally ask Mr. DePape if he wanted to speak. As the court did not do so, it committed a clear error. Welcome, Taz and Debbie and Zach. So, I don't know. I really don't want to hear Nancy Pelosi cry again or pretend to cry. I don't know if when you facelift enough, if your tear ducts just end up here and you look like you're sweating. I don't know. But look at Nancy Pelosi. She looks like she has double eyebrows because her eyebrows are up here and the ridge where your eyebrows are supposed to be is right like an inch lower. If you want something if you want to laugh at something, Nancy Pelosi flew over to, England to do a debate about how populism is bad for democracy. This woman should never be a public speaker, but the other guy completely BTFO'd her, and it was awesome. He picked out every point. If you're just against people that are smarmy and think they're better than you, it's a good watch. Regardless of your political kind of thing, I think it's just nice to see Nancy Pelosi put in her place. Okay, well, I mean, I'm sure she might be okay in small doses, but I just want her to send me an entire, sub-zero fridge and ice cream. I want the $17 ice cream, I'm just saying. The court has 14 days to make corrections to errors like these, she added. Assuming the defendant represents on appeal, he would have spoken personally if asked. This error will almost certainly result in a remand for sentencing. So rather than wait for that remand, the court will reopen sentencing to permit Mr. DePape to speak if he would wish. The court will withhold entry of the judgment and commitment in the interim, ordered the states. Welcome, Captain Kern and Tamara. Here's the thing. We can disagree on politics, and I still think you're a great person. And I still think that, we might see differently about how to fix a problem, but we can all sit down together and, get something done, sort of. If we just, got regular people here. I don't assume that you have negative morals. I just assume that you see things differently. We need all views on, we need to be able to sit down and talk and really come up with solutions for hard problems. And we need all the perspectives. Because, I am in, like I said, full F deficit. So I would not be a good person to be a leader right now because I'd be like, you know what? It's done. And welcome, Flux Raid. So, as Law and Crime previously reported, a federal jury found DePape guilty of 2 charges, including attempted kidnap of a federal official and assaulting an immediate family member of a family official with intent to retaliate against the official for performance of their duties. It's almost like they realize people don't like politicians sometimes. I didn't even know that was a crime, but there you go. DePape was sentenced to 30 years for assaulting Paul Pelosi and 20 years for attempting to kidnap him. Now, the sentences were set to run concurrently. So that means that he will basically, for every day, he is working on both sentences versus consecutively, where one would stack up on top of the other, making it 50 years. So he still has to serve 30 years, but uh, let's see. And I do wonder if him saying anything is going to change the sentence, but I'm not quite sure that that's actually going to happen. And I know that this is more procedural, but I can't imagine that this is going to change much as far as sentencing, but it is a reversible error, and they are trying to make sure that he gets, due process. Good evening, Boosh McFadden. Welcome. And Eric, thank you all, Flux Raiders. We are on all the news to keep us to wipe away Nancy and Paul's hammer attack. We have now. I think we're getting a little cray cray with these, challenges, because who the hell thinks of these things? It has to be a dude thing, because if I sit down with Mr. Mo and I ask him what he's thinking, he's usually like, "I wonder why glue doesn't stick to the inside of the bottle." Let's see. Idaho man snaps 110 pencils in 1 minute because, why not? Why not go pencil snapping? Serial Guinness World Record breaker David Rush recaptured one of his former titles by snapping 110 pencils in 1 minute. Rush, whose goal is to hold the most concurrent Guinness World Records titles, originally held the record for most pencils snapped in 1 minute in 2019 when he broke 98 writing implements in the allotted time. Y'all, how gummied was this dude when we made up these these things? I just can't. I can't with this. The record was broken multiple times in the ensuing years, and Rush nearly recaptured it with a 111 pencil attempt, but it was disqualified due to an issue with his stopwatch operator. Rush tried again a week later, this time snapping 110 pencils, enough to tie the record held by Ron Secherin in 2022, so he is now a co-owner of the title. The record brings Rush's total concurrent titles to 169, giggity, edging him closer to his goal of 181. It's reach for the sky, sir. Break all the pencils. Next time, do fountain pens. I mean, reach for your goals, sir. I can just see him. So I'm imagining in my head him in, the Sound of Music, just being really happy with the the circling view of, snapping all the pencils. In other news, why in the world are we in the rapture? Seriously, what in the rapture is this? Sour Patch Oreos, which my youngest son got today. Ooh, ooh. Look, I'm a fluffy person. I love most Oreos, but no, just no. Sour Patch Kids Oreos, Peeps, Pepsi. What is behind the weird flavors popping up on store shelves? And yes, they actually have a mac and cheese ice cream because Jesus, final form Jesus is coming back. I just don't know. So we've got mac and cheese. Just no, th- those are wrong. Easter brunch jelly beans. I mean, we just look. I think 2024 just broke some people. I love 2024. I mean, the first week of 2024, we had Hasidic gentlemen popping out of, the sewer like Ninja Turtles. We should have just known it is front loading all the cray cray, but we have a whole year. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. I will look at that and get right on that. Sorry. Let's see here. Uh, Van Leeuwen ice cream usually draws customers with its gourmet takes on classics like vanilla and pistachio, but occasionally the artisanal ice cream maker, headquartered in New York, slips in what it calls a shock flavor, like Hidden Valley Ranch or pizza. Just no. No, this has to be in Revelations. I just Look, it wasn't a multi-headed, dragon. It was, look, I still have the ramen noodles that I need to do for my wheel of woe. Um, they've got everything bagel and pancake for some heathen reason. I don't know. I think 2024 broke some of us. Surprising flavor combinations, think gravy flavored Jones soda or Sour Patch Kid Oreos, are showing up more frequently in grocery stores and restaurant chains. Hershey's recently introduced pink lemonade flavored Kit Kats, while IHOP and Lay's brought out Rooty Tooty Fresh and Fruity potato chips designed to taste like strawberry topped pancakes with a hint of bacon. Holy fazoli's, this is so wrong. In the United Kingdom, Little Moons made fish and chip mochi ice cream in 2021, while potato chip brand Walker's is known to celebrate Christmas with Brussels sprout flavored chips. You want me to never eat a chip again? Give me a kale chip. Look, God love you. Some people love kale and they're like, "Oh my goodness. Try a kale chip." And I'm like, this tastes like sadness and defeat. I can't. Let's see. Usually these are limited time flavors, though occasionally they're so popular they end up on shelves permanently, as Lay's Flamin' Hot Dill Pickles Chips did in 2019. While it's tempting to pass them off as social media stunts, experts say there's more to the story. Food companies are responding to the changing and expanding taste of customers, while also trying to keep the brands relevant and distinct to win space on crowded store shelves. Quote, we're really in an excited time of flavor development where customers are not just one thing. You're not just a sour lover or a sweet lover. You want a little of this and a little of that, said Kristen Braun, a senior brand manager for Oreo innovation at the Chicago-based food and beverage company Mondelez International. Companies are finding the freedom to explore with a little bit and get more creative. Note to companies. Bad. This is bad. Although I will tell you, when I was with child with the youngest, most feral, I have never had rum, or rum raisin ice cream. But for some reason, I wanted it so bad and I could not find it. I was so pissed off and I was like, y'all, I haven't even eaten rum raisin ice cream, but for some reason it was necessary and we couldn't find it and I was ticked. Sour Patch Kid Oreos, vanilla cream filled cookies speckled with colorful bites of sour candies, are one of about a dozen limited Oreo flavors that Mondelez plans to release this year. Braun says it takes the company 1 or 2 years to develop such projects. They should have they should have looked more. I think so. I really do. Let's see here. She's already thinking ahead to future flavors that blur the line between sweet, salty, and spicy. Here, you you get a regular Oreo, you put pretzel bits in it, and you call it sweet and sour or sweet and salty. I'm just no. Oddball pairings aren't new in the food and beverage industry. Hubba Bubba released a bubble flavored soda in the late 1980s, for example, but manufacturers and their suppliers have gotten more sophisticated and efficient to make it easier to experiment and put out limited edition uh, flavors more frequently, said Mark Lang, a food marketing expert and associate professor of marketing at University of Tampa. Kyle Shadix, who is one of the corporation's executive research chefs for PepsiCo, has worked on beverages such as Pepsi maple syrup, strawberry shortcake Pepsi in Japan, said members of Generation Z are also fueling innovation. They're diverse, adventurous, and kidults. They're never going to be adults, for the love of all that is holy. Quote, there's every chef's dream to design for, said Shadix, who is currently experimenting with a lot of Mexican, Korean, and Japanese flavors. Gen Z is going to drive us faster. We're going to see even more exploration quicker than the past because they're so open to it. I want y'all to remember Coke, Crystal Pepsi. I can end it now. It's okay. I love those. I love that flavor. I'm telling you, I love the buttered popcorn. I don't know what it is. I don't know what Jelly Belly does, but they are awesome and I love them. Let's see if there's when companies combine brands, they're usually trying to build an association, like Peeps flavored Pepsi or in mustard flavored Skittles. What in the absolute rapture is this crap? All right, I'm stopping this. This is gross. But there you go. If you would like to, buy a gross ice cream, I would I would look for all of the fancy ones because apparently they like fancy dancy. In other news for court, apparently, you know, you can find the love of your life to help you unalive the current boyfriend. You could just break up, but why do that? That's so passe. I'm done waiting. I will do it myself. A woman conspires with her secret lover and coworker at McDonald's to unalive her boyfriend. Well, I mean, who among us haven't, while working at McDonald's, tried to plan a hit, as you do. Oh my, these are some Manson lamps. You went for that? Ma'am, I need you to come to the front of the classroom and explain or rate some things because those are some Manson lamps. And he is staring through my soul right now. I'm taking you off. We're just going to go here because those eyeballs, oh my God. I do want to try that. I actually ordered the zero sugar kind. So I like dirty pop. So what you do is you get like a Diet Coke or a Diet Dr. Pepper. You put a little bit of coconut creamer and lime juice, and it's dirty pop. I think the LDS church made it up because you can't have caffeine. Who knows? But that's hey, whatever works, you work it. A woman and her paramour in Illinois are behind bars after they allegedly conspired to unalive her boyfriend. Police in Bridgeview, a suburb of Chicago, arrested Andkanazi Rajetic and Anthony Calderon for the murder of the 39-year-old Arturo Cantu. Cops alleged that around 5 a.m. on Wednesday, Calderon, 20 years old, shot Cantu multiple times as the victim walked to his car outside his apartment near the corner of South Oquito Avenue and 79th Street. Medical personnel pronounced Cantu dead on the scene. To the family of Mr. Cantu, I am very sorry. This is such a dumb reason to lose your son, brother, cousin. I'm sorry. It just sucks, and you are a part of a club you never wanted to join. So I do hope that they are getting the help and outreach that they need during this time. Surveillance videos show a man parking in his SUV at a nearby business before walking into the apartment and running back to the vehicle after, shooting all the freedom seeds. Red Redzwecky, 33, was in the apartment during the unaliving, according to police. Prosecutors charged Calderon with first-degree unaliving and Redzwecky with solicitation to commit murder on Saturday. The pair were co-workers at McDonald's, the police said. Redzwecky initially claimed she had nothing to do with the unaliving, but prosecutors uncovered text messages on her phone between April 28th and May 9th. Seriously, we have talked about this. We do not film our crimes. We do not write our crimes down. We do not run away. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm too lazy to figure out other routes to super chat. I'll just send twice as much. Plus, narcissists love to have their clever comments read, especially when I steal jokes. Hey, as long as oh gosh, what is it? You accredit someone, I think it's fine. Spread the jokes everywhere. Thank you so much, Zach. What happens at McDonald's should stay at McDonald's. Honestly, we need a class action lawsuit to figure out why the ice cream machines never effing work. They're all about this new, McFlurry or whatever from grandma. but none of the ice cream machines work, so I feel like that is definitely a thing that we can get a class action lawsuit going, because this is downright ridiculous, if you ask me. Text messages reportedly showed that Calderon and Redzwicki were romantically involved and had begun to plan a life together and discussed how to get rid of Cantu. You just, you just, split up. I don't understand the unaliving thing. I mean, and I don't think, he had a big old daggone life insurance, so I don't have to do the life insurance, uh, you know, thing. Redzwecki texted to her paramour to tell people that they allegedly hired to, quote, do the job they got paid to do, but Calderon decided to do the deed himself, prosecutors reportedly said. I'm done waiting. Calderon texted his lover on May 9th, according to a local ABC affiliate, WLS, quote, I'll do it myself. Then Calderon reportedly texted her on May 20 or 14th, the day before the unaliving, quote, there will be no mercy. Calderon confessed to the crime, the Sun-Times reported. Cantu's family is, of course, devastated. He leaves behind a 10-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son from a prior relationship, WLS reported. His mother, Dana Pacheco, is heartbroken and destroyed inside. Yeah, it's just, there are no words. It's you're part of this group you never wanted to join, and you've lost a loved one, and you still see people going on with their regular lives, and it's deeply unfair that, their world hasn't come crashing down. Not that you want to wish it on other people, but it's just life goes on around you, and it sucks. There should be like a day off. Everyone should hurt the way you do. And there are no words. We just don't have any words. But, if you have a friend or someone going through something, uh, just, sometimes just sitting with them while they're in hell, you're going through hell. Just sitting there, knowing you're not alone. That's the biggest help. Uh, let's see. My philosophy is if you're not getting along as a couple, leave. Don't unalive him, Pancheo told the TV station. My son did not deserve it. Pancheo and Cantu's sister started a GoFundMe on behalf of the family to raise money for funeral expenses. Quote, our brother's son was taken from us due to gun violence. No, it's the instrumentality, if it were changed, if he had a knife or a baseball bat, the instrumentality doesn't change. He was still going to do what he was going to do. I am so jealous. That is awesome. We will never get to hear from him, hear his laugh, or see his beautiful smiles anymore. All we do now is carry with us the beautiful memories he left with all of us, and to cherish the best times we got to have with him. Redzwecki and Calderon are still in the Cook County Jail without bond, and they do have a court date Tuesday. So, yeah, that's, between dumbness. To bring possible attention to this and see if there's anyone that can help. I know I have a small channel, but maybe someone is connected, or, at least it gets it out of there. But an American couple is stranded in Brazil facing a bureaucratic nightmare after their newborn son arrived months early. A Minnesota couple in the midst of a bureaucratic nightmare amid a months-long stay in Brazil, where the paperwork issues regarding their newborn son have prevented them from returning to the United States. Oh, he is such a precious little guy. Let's see. Chris and Sherry Phillips of Cambridge, located 50 miles north of Minneapolis, visited the South American nation in February for what was supposed to be a 2-week trip. The couple consulted with doctors before leaving and were encouraged to travel, as Sherry Phillips' due date was not until June the 2nd. Chris, who has a young daughter who lives in Brazil with her mother, visits the country at least 3 times a year. His wife usually accompanies him on at least one of the trips, they said. On March 8th, 2 days before they were slated to return home, Sherry Phillips began having some bleeding. They went to the hospital, and several days later, Grayson Phillips was born through a C-section. He spent 51 days in neonatal intensive care before being discharged to his parents on May 3rd. And other NICU parents, it is the strangest, and again, it's almost like when you lose someone, to be on the postpartum floor and know that your child is in the NICU, and you're not going home with your child, and you hear the babies crying and everything else. I it is a hard sort of thing to deal with, and I'm glad he's doing better. Let's see. Quote, while his health track has gone overall quite well, we're still stuck in a bureaucratic nightmare with regards to the Brazilian documentation and American documentation, Chris Phillips told Fox News Digital from an Airbnb where the family is staying in the coastal city of Florianopolis. The only reason we can't bring him home is because he doesn't have a Brazilian birth certificate, and we can't get him his American passport until he has a birth certificate. A Central American country having problem with ridiculous over bureaucracy. My shocked Pikachu face. Despite the fight for her son's life, the fight to get him to the U.S. has proven to be an unexpected challenge. To leave the country, they need a passport for Grayson, which requires a birth certificate. However, the local registry office, called a cantario, refused to issue one because of the passport for Chris and Sherry Phillips do not have the names of their parents on them, which is required in Brazil, they said. For the love of all that is holy, I would not. Loved ones back in Minnesota sent the couple their individual birth certificates containing their parents' names and their marriage license. A court translator said the documents would still be denied because of the lack of an apostle, a little-known provision that certifies a document to be recognized by member nations in the 1961 Hague Convention, Chris Phillips said. As their plight caught the attention of Brazilian media, the Cantorio, quote, had a change of heart and issued Grayson's birth certificate. The agency blamed the holdup on an employee who refused to comply with the request, Chris Phillips said over the weekend. Quote, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, no admission of ignorance regarding the law, which they should have been fully aware, he said in a statement. No apology for the 2+ months of unnecessary stress and mental anguish they cost for me and Sherry. Supposedly, we were told someone here, Brazil had passed a new law in 2023 that excludes foreigners from needing to present official documents with apostles and that contain the child's grandparents' name in order to process the Brazilian birth certificate, he said. Getting American documentation was equally difficult. Getting the proper paperwork required Grayson's birth certificate and a trip to the U.S. consulate or embassy. The nearest facility is some 300 miles away in an area that's been heavily impacted by flooding. Additionally, the newborn doesn't fit in a car seat, so driving was out of the question, Chris Phillips said. The couple contracted a local lawyer, but the court process was slowed to a halt, which likened the infant to a child without a country for a period of time, they said. Quote, he, Grayson, does not exist officially or on paper yet in any system. This is where you change his name to Rusty Shackelford. And, the Ballad of Rusty Shackelford can start anew. You call him Dale Gribble other times. I'm just saying, I'm floating it. I would totally do that, but I'm a weirdo. Now he has a birth certificate, and he does exist on paper, he said. Previously, the couple also reached out to Senator Tina Smith, a Democrat from Minnesota, for help in cutting the red tape. Quite, I can only imagine the incredible stress that this family has had to endure, both in giving birth unexpectedly in Brazil, then having to overcome bureaucratic hurdles to come home, Smith said in a statement to Fox News Digital. After calling on the embassy in Brasilia to do more to help the family, we've received news that they will provide extra service to ensure that the family does not have to travel to get a USA passport. As of Sunday, the couple was working with the U.S. Embassy in Brasilia to produce a passport for her son. Quote, we will not begin to truly feel comfortable until we have that passport in hand. To be clear, we still have a long road ahead of us, but at long last we can see it, Chris said. Aside from the additional stress trying to navigate Brazil's legal system, the Phillips have had to deal with the mental and financial ramifications of their predicament. I don't speak Portuguese, and not a lot of people here speak English, said Sherry Phillips, a first-time mother. It's extremely taxing to go through childbirth and have a child in a hospital where you can't directly talk to their care team. And that is true. In Brazil, they do not speak Spanish. They speak Portuguese. Now, if you want to know something really weird, and the History Channel just seems to be on a tear with this, allegedly, in conspiracy theory, a certain Austrian painter escaped a bunker and went on to live in Brazil. There is a high concentration of, let's say, people that enjoyed this Austrian painter that moved to Brazil to avoid kind of the Nuremberg trials. So I'm just saying, there is a conspiracy theory that a certain Austrian painter, oh, that's Argentina. Wrong. Never mind. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But they do still speak Portuguese, so it is Argentina. You know it. Y'all, my brain is all scrambled. The family has had to stay in several Airbnb properties, forcing them to move each time the reservation ends. Additionally, they've had to extend the contract for their rental car and adjust their flights home, which can come with significant cost. Their health care insurance provider has so far covered medical expense claims. That's a big deal. I'm glad that their insurance is covering. Chris Phillips said. Chris is a photographer and video producer for a pediatric health provider and has been working remotely. Sherry will return to work virtually on a part-time basis next week. Oh, goodness. No, Tammy, you take care of yourself. Honestly, get to a safe spot. It is not worth, listening to a podcast or whatever these things are called. I want y'all to be safe. Yeah, it's supposed to be very bad over in Illinois, Ohio, and I think possibly Michigan. So yeah, stay safe. I would rather you be safe and, live to see another day. Let's see, getting him home, that's the goal now, he said. By birth, he's a Brazilian citizen. Being born to American, he has the right to be an American citizen, which he will be. There you go. So, in this woman and Snake Island need to have a date because I am about done with people. A pregnant mom of 4 with a mostly empty bottle of Crown Royal slams into 16 pedestrians and unalives 2 cops. You, ma'am, are gross trash water. Not only are you, you're not even understanding the absolute blessing that you have with 4 children, but you're abusing the one in your body already. For the love of all that is holy, this woman, you know where she's going. I hate to do it, but Snake Island, and your kiddos will be placed with good families. And she looks like she could give 2 Fs. She is in full F deficit too, but ma'am, just ma'am. A drunk and pregnant Michigan mom drove into a crowd of pedestrians, hitting 16 people, including 2 fatally, in the Clinton County Sheriff's Office said. Ashley Monroe, 35, had a blood alcohol content of 1.83, which is more than twice the legal limit, and a mostly empty bottle of Crown Royal in her purse, along with 2 bottles of antidepressants. Madam, the incident happened shortly before 6:30 p.m. Saturday on South Wacosta Road near Corin Road and Watertown Township, about 15 miles northeast of Lansing. After allegedly crashing into the victims, Monroe drove away before a Clinton County Sheriff's deputy stopped her about 3 minutes later. Her car had heavy front end damage, and look, it was about the same as the Daryl Brooks case. And what I dislike immensely with people who drive impaired is that never, it is absolutely never the person that is, driving recklessly and impaired that gets hurt. It doesn't seem fair. Two of the victims, 30-year-old Jonathan Esch and 42-year-old Daniel Harris, passed away on the scene. Paramedics rushed the 14 other victims, ranging from 2 to 61, to the hospital. A 38-year-old woman is in critical condition, while others suffered non-life-threatening injuries, deputies said. And to be absolutely, I mean, I just, I'm so done with people that just cannot, do right. Uh, And you know what really sucks? And I'm not guessing this, but I'm guessing she's going to use like I have, postpartum depression or something like that. And you know what, ma'am? So did I, but I didn't run into anyone. I am so tired, and because she's a woman, I think that they're going to let her do all this mental health stuff to try to mitigate her actions. But just because you have a pair of boobs doesn't mean you can't do crime. And this woman chose to get into a car, which is a 5,000 pound, battering ram, and give no F's about people. And that's the thing. A lot of women have postpartum depression, and that is normal, and we need to be okay with it. But it's also not a get out of jail free card for doing stupid crap that you shouldn't do. Let's see. Monroe is charged with 2 counts each of operating while intoxicated and failure to stop at a scene of an accident causing fatality, 6 counts of operating while intoxicating causing serious injury, and 1 count of failure to stop at a scene of an accident resulting in serious impairment and death. At Monroe's arraignment, streamed by local CBS affiliate WLNS, Martinez asked for a bond of $500,000. "We think she's a serious risk to the public," said Martinez. "Welcome, Jude." Monroe's attorney, Ronald Zwacky, said his client is a mother of 4 children, ages 13, 11, 7, and 1, with another on the way. She has worked at the Michigan Security State Office for about a year and a half. District Court Judge Michael Calzano set Monroe's bond at $1 million. "What the court knows for sure here is we have 2 individuals that died," Calzaro said. "2 people have lost their lives prematurely, and we're not just talking about the victims. We're talking about multiple victims." Monroe remains in Clinton County Jail. A probable cause hearing is scheduled for May 3rd or 13th. I mean 30th. Yeah, I don't know, and absolutely, Slinky, I am tired of women being used as a female as excuse for a bad behavior. Contrary to the belief of some, womanhood is not a state of crazy. No, that's the thing. Even if you are under a pile of depression, you still control these. You still control this. You still have control. The worst thing you can do is be an a-hole to someone else because you're dealing with a mountain of doo-doo. You don't know what they're dealing with. If we all just tried to be a little bit nicer, it would be a great day. But, sometimes we just, in our final story, and I know you guys are going to tear up because, oh my gosh, Benifer, how are we going to survive in a world without Benifer? Oh, I mean, he seems mostly drunk. No offense to him, but I don't know. A flustered looking Ben Affleck reunites with Jennifer Lopez amid split rumors. No, Benifer has to happen. It was the first time we, did all the names. It was cringy in the early aughts. We need to do this. Uh, Ben Affleck appears to have returned to his broody self. The Argo star reunited with Jennifer Lopez on Sunday amid rumors that they're heading for a divorce. Affleck said the Hustler star attended a movie event at the Ario uh, Theater in Santa Monica, California, and made their way to their Soho house for a jaunt. I don't know. She just looks like she takes forever to get dressed. I mean, it takes a lot to look like you don't have any makeup on, but you have makeup on. And I still haven't learned that trick, but oh my gosh, what the heck? She probably takes 84,000 hours to get ready. I mean, she always looks really nice. I'm not, I don't understand the baggy pants, but okay. Lopez is 54, looking chic in a pair of slacks and a turtleneck sweater, which she covered with a long trench coat. Her Geely co-star, however, opted for his signature look of jeans, sneakers, and a Boston-themed t-shirt. Notably, Affleck, 51, accessorized his wedding band, which had been absent in recent days. As the pair made their way through the parking garage, the Air actor appeared to be flustered, while Lopez remained neutral and what in the actual world? Yeah, he had Jennifer Garner, who seems like she is down to earth and a real person. I don't know what she's like in real, people world, but she seems really nice and down to earth. And then he got back to what's his face. Although to be fair, he did make the worst, Batman versus Superman movie. So, I don't know how much you have to atone for that. Martha! Her name is Martha. That dumbest movie in the entire world. Oh, I'll save your mother because she still named your name. Don't get it. I really don't. But, I mean, it is kind of nice. Lucky for Superman that he had a mom named Martha too, because otherwise, kind of be screwed. He's like, no, her name is Meredith. I'm not saying a chick named Meredith. She doesn't remind me of my mom. Tangent over. I'm sorry. Just dumbest movie in the entire world. It it was must meet. It was must miss television, so there you go. Upon arriving at an elevator bank, a father of three appeared angered and shoved his arm out in a frustrated manner. To be fair, if I had people around filming me all the time, I would be pissed off too. Because what if you just want to pick your nose or do something like you have a wedgie? You just want to, you try to do a little wedgie dance, but you eventually have to, take care of business. I would never, ever. I know. The man is like Superman jumped out of the page. To be fair, everyone is a Henry Cavill sexual. I mean, man, woman, child. Well, not child, but younger people. Well, we would all be okay with Henry Cavill. Mr. Mo is like, what the hell are you talking about? But there you go. He looks upset and disoriented as usual, and she looks like she took 15 hours to get dressed. See, there's the thing. Like, you never have a face. You might have like a face, and then you get pictures of it, and they're like, Mo, terrified of the world. Yeah, Henry Cavill, although when they had to CGI his mustache out for whatever movie he was doing, uh, I have never seen more uncanny valley weirdness. We're redoing Highlander. Look, Hollywood, I'm gonna be real straight with you. If you change the soundtrack from a giant thing of Queen, I will lose my faith in humanity. Leave Queen's soundtrack. Queen is awesome. Freddie Mercury made an entire, it wasn't like Flash Gordon where they just made, like 18 versions of Flash Gordon, the song. He actually did, they actually sat down and did a really good soundtrack. So I swear to God, Hollywood, if you put in, I don't know, Lord or, oh God, what's her face with, the teeny bopper. Look, I'm just telling y'all, keep Queen. because there can only be one, and I will hold a grudge. So there you go, your star news. I am sending you over to Shizzy. I will be on there in just a second. I am going to make sure that Dingus over here has a little bit of food because apparently he he's supposed to eat 3 times a day and he is always hungry. He's like, what about 11sies? So make sure that he has fresh water and everything else. And then I will be over with Shizzy. I think we are watching The Hales and Florida Man. So that would be awesome. And remember, you guys, there will be no mornings with Mo. I will try to do a nightly Newsy News, but it will all depend on how my appointments go. If I had to do a lot of physical therapy tests, I will probably not be in the best shape. So I will attempt to be there for the evening, but if not, I will be working on recording again the Scott Peterson stuff because apparently my microphone was all weirded out. But have a wonderful day. If I don't see you at Shizzy's, have a wonderful evening. Tara, be safe. And everyone, if you are in an area with storms, please pay attention to them. I we never want you to ever get hurt because you're watching us, so stay safe. Bye, you guys.